Fuel What Matters podcast focuses on what fuels you. From products to entrepreneurship to living a healthy lifestyle, we have you covered.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Xendurance podcast. I am here with Olympian Paul Chelimo, and Paul was a second place finisher at the 2016 Rio Olympics in the 5,000, and he is one of the best distance runners in United States history. He's been an Xendurance athlete now for 2 years, and we're excited to chat with him today. Paul, how you doing?
Good. It's a pretty good day in Colorado Springs. Yeah.
How's the weather been in Colorado Springs?
Springs it's always like it's bipolar weather. It's today can be like right now as we're talking, it's around 60, 65. But yesterday was 32, 20, 28. The day before that, it was snowing. And right now, there's still snow on the ground and it's 65. So it's just bipolar weather. Everything is crazy. It's 65, but I just got done walking out in indoor track. So that's how crazy you can know it is. Like with 65, I can still walk out in indoor. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And to me, when I'm in Colorado, it always seems like, it might be 40 degrees, but it always feels, as long as the sun's out, you're always kind of warm. Yeah,
exactly. Because it's dry air and when it's 45, 50, yeah, it's fine. It's good. Like East Coast, like the South, like Atlanta, if it's 40, it's cold. 40 is cold. If it's 50, it's still cold. But 50, it's nice. And that's the difference.
That's great. So I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of your history, and it's pretty unique. And if you won't mind, I just want to dive kind of into that. Just want to let everybody kind of know, like, where were you born? Where are you from? Like, when did you come to the United States?
Yeah, I was born in Iten, Kenya. It feels like, it looks like it sounds like everyone in Iten runs, Pretty much a lot of people run in Iten, So I grew up there and it's been a culture. And I knew I was talented. I knew this is the route I wanted to go. Because I used to play tags with my brothers, and trust me, they will never catch me. So that was my weapon, When my brother gets pissed off, like I would just run away and that's it. You'll never see me. So that was kind of like my weapon. And I had a soccer background. I used to play soccer.
Okay.
And soccer and basketball for sure. And that really helped me, like, athletic wise. And once I finished high school, 2009, and by 2009 November, I started training. So 2010, I already had a scholarship in the United States, and like I flew in like around August 2010, and since then it's been a journey. Flew into Atlanta, Georgia, and it was so hot and humid and crazy, and I was like, I couldn't survive here. But then I had to adjust. I had to live the American way of life, and so it's been a journey, Like my first year when I came to Rome, Georgia, I remember I had an argument with my coach. My coach was like, Paul, you need to run more than 30 minutes. I'm like, no, I think I can get shape with only 30 minutes runs, and now I always talk to him about it. We just laugh because it's like, it's crazy. And before that, I used to like when I came, to be honest, I didn't even know where to start. Like if it's a 600-meter walkout, like I wouldn't even like think about like where to start from, because like I didn't have a track background or anything. So, yeah.
But when you were in Kenya, did you have structured training there? I mean, did you have coaches and training program and all that support there?
No. I would just go join a group. I would just join a group and just ride it out. And, like I remember there was a time it was my senior in high school, the time that I stopped running because I got smoked. Because my first time, my mom told me to go to a training camp. And the training camp was the Brother Colum, the coach. Brother Colum, like David Rudisha's coach. And so I was just thrown into the wolves. I just joined the camp, and the day that I arrived there that morning, the camp is in the tent. So I went there and they say we're going to start running at 9. So maybe I arrived at, I think, around 8:30. And I remember on the market day, I had to go to the market to buy some pair of shoes, like some used pair of shoes and running clothes, because I didn't know anything about running, like I didn't know much about running. I just knew running, you just run, you take off. So I showed up and Brother Colum says, okay, it's time. We have a moderate threshold today and you're going to go to the forest and it's going to be about, I think it was about 16K if I'm not wrong. And that was my first time. I'd never done anything, no easy runs, nothing. So all of a sudden, these guys, they start, and I have just my natural endurance. I got to 5K. I was still fine all the way till like 3K to 5K. When we got into the forest, it was supposed to be a moderate run, like just easy and moderate run. And when it got to a point, they started racing against each other. So for that time, Isaac Songok was in shape, like a 1250 guy, 1245 guy. There was Asbel Kiprop and there was David Rudisha in that group and Augustin Choge, So running with these guys and trying to keep up with them. So I couldn't even keep up. I was dead last. And it happened that there was a guy who was slower than everyone. So I was like, the only hope that I have is not to let this guy go. Because it's roads in the forest. Like there's like some paths in the forest. So I had to just keep track of that guy. I could see him at a distance. So I'm like, if I lost this guy, I'm done. So it got to a point, my endurance was over and they disappeared. I couldn't even see the guy anymore. And I remember when I was running on the main road, I met an old guy. And I asked him, hey, have you seen a group of guys going this way? Because I knew I was lost. So I asked him, did you see a group of guys going this way? He said, he answered me like crazy. It's like, he was in shock. He was like, oh, those guys went here, they passed here long time ago, man. I'm like, wow. So when I got back to the camp, everybody was done. Everybody was gone. There was no coaches, and it's my first day, and I went to see some guys. Some guys were taking breakfast. I'm a new guy. No one was talking to me, so I was just I just got so heartbroken and I left. And when I got back home, I told my mom I'm never going back there. And the worst part is the shoes that I had was walking shoes. It was just the sports shoes, but it's just walking shoes.
Right.
And it wasn't my size. I think it was size 8.5 or something, and I'm 9.5. So after that, my legs was on fire, my feet was on fire, and I was and to be honest, I never went back. I told my mom, that's it, I'm done. So the next time when I started running, I just started on my own, and because I learned a lesson and I didn't have that rush anymore because I was just because my brother came to the US through athletic scholarship. So I was trying to get to follow his footsteps and everything. So eventually it just happened. I got myself here. So it's been a journey.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, really quick, pull your sweatshirt to the side and let your mic kind of so I'm getting a little bit of feedback on it.
So it's okay.
There you go. So it's kind of just rubbing on your sweatshirt. Can you pull your sweatshirt maybe to the side a little bit? There we go.
All right, let's see. Hope that's better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. As long as it doesn't rub, we're good.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not a big deal. So what did your brother sorry, we'll cut there. So I'm just note to my editor here.
Yeah.
So Eric, we'll cut there and then pick up here. Okay. So what did your brother come over on? What kind of scholarship?
Yeah, my brother he also had athletic scholarship. He went to University of Louisiana at Monroe.
For track.
Yeah,
Okay.
2007, and then when he did that, this is the path I want to go, because I really wanted to go to school and get a degree, and my mom usually used to encourage education, so because there was a time even I was trying. Renato Canova was interested in me joining his group when I started training. He was interested in me joining his group. So I went home and told my mom. So I was so excited. I told him I got a professional group and I want to train with them. And my mom was so pissed. I thought I was giving her good news. She was so pissed because she was like, I don't want to see you with those guys, and I want you to go to school and get education. So that's when I never went back there. So yeah.
So when was it? So after you didn't go back to Radishu's group?
Yes.
So then when did you kind of figure out that, I've got what it takes to kind of get a scholarship, and then who kind of reached out for the scholarship?
So for the scholarship, I started training, and then there was a training camp in Kaptagat where my brother went there, and so we knew the coach, and the coach used to know coaches in the US, and then one day, it's crazy. One day it was around January. Around March, April is the rainy season in Kenya, and that time we do farming and everything. I remember the time that when I got the scholarship, I was on the farm. I had not run for 2 weeks. I was in the farm, doing farm work. So
what kind of farm was it? What kind of farm work?
So we would go in the morning, 6 a.m, and with the hoe, just go dig and plant the seedlings. So we would go it's about an acre or 2 acres. So we'd go in the morning at 6. We'd be done 3 p.m. So pretty much I couldn't even run. And then it was on a Thursday I was done with the farm work, and on Friday my mom says, "Oh, so there's a guy coming from the US, and it's a coach, and you really need to go there and see if you can get a scholarship." So on Friday morning, I wake up, my mom gives me transport, and I jumped into the taxi, the Matatu, and I went to the camp. We did the race on Saturday. I wasn't recovered, no training gears. I remember I had a tracksuit. I used a tracksuit to race. And I was with the leaders. It was a 2.5 out and back. I was with the leaders all the way halfway, and then I was done because I didn't have enough good training and anything. But then the good side is this coach had done research about me, so that was the good thing, because already I had a 1450 5K on the track in altitude. So this coach checked my form. So I realized this coach was just coming to see athletes that he knew. So after the race, he called me. I'm like, what? I dropped out of this race and this guy is calling me to talk to me. So he talked to me, say "Oh, I've seen your PB, you've run good, and I can see you are in shape. The way you look like a runner, and the training, the way you are racing, it looks like you can run fast." And he just hooked me up with the coach in the US. So these guys, do you know Janet Bockham? She used to run road races. Janet Bockham, his husband. Her husband is Jay Bockham. So Jay Bockham came to Kenya. So when he was coming to Kenya, with Janet, the coach from Shora University, his name is Jay Stevenson, sent him. He said, go check this athlete, or if you can get another better athlete, try get me those athletes, And that's how he was said to come look for me and check if I'm real, like if I'm training or it's a real guy out there. So he came, and within like by May, I had the I-20 and the scholarship paperwork, and July I went for the interview at the embassy and I qualified, and so August I was in the US. Yep.
And where did you land then? What school is it?
Shora University is in Rome,
Shora
Jersey.
University. Okay.
Yeah, Shora. It's D2 school now. Then it was NIA. Yeah.
Shora University. And how long were you there?
I was there for 1 year. Because I got there, I was third in the cross country. NIA cross country, I was third place. The following year, I went against Kennedy Kituka. Kennedy Kituka was NIA then. And I won the 10K and I won the 5K. So I figured out like there is nothing else. If it's my first year and I'm winning the 10K and the 5K, I need to go to NCAA D1 school. And that's when I transferred and I found myself in UNC Greensboro. Yeah.
So you were at UNC then? Like your sophomore year, right?
Yeah. So sophomore year, I was in University of North Carolina at Greensboro all the way till my senior year. Okay. Then when I graduated, I joined the Army. And then when I joined the Army, it's been a journey.
So tell me about your time really quickly, like at UNC. Like, how was that? Like, was there any kind of like culture shock? I mean, you're going from. I mean, I grew up on a farm too. But you grew up on a farm, then you came over to the United States. I mean, was it a transition? Like, how was that process?
Yeah. When I got to Shora College, there was culture shock there. 1 year and I'm in Shora College, and there was some freshman guys who were speaking French. They spoke English and French. So and then also they would speak so fast. I would feel like the accent was kind of fast for me. So I'm like, at some point they would speak to me. I'm like, so are you speaking French or are you speaking English to me? Because I had a thick accent then, and I would and with my thick accent, like I would speak very slow. Everything was slower, but then they would speak faster. So it's just tough for me to catch up with them. But then by the time I was in Shora College, by the time I was in University of North Carolina at Greensboro, it got better. I was already like catching up, and it's a good thing already I knew. Like when I was there, I knew English and everything. It's just that I had a very thick accent. It's funny. I had a class with a guy. This guy was so ignorant because he was retaking that class. And one day when we were walking back from class, he asked me like, bro, how are you in this class and you can't even speak any English? I'm like, okay. So is it because I have an accent I can't speak English? So, and I passed that class. To be honest, I passed that class. I had a B, like B+ or something. And this guy had to retake that class. I'm pretty sure he had to retake it because I knew he had problems with this. He had a lot of problems with the professor. So I'm like, oh man, like that was culture shock. Like when you get to a certain point, someone asks you those type of questions, but then it was a journey and I just learned and everything. And the first time, in Kenya, like we have the blackboard. When you say the blackboard, it's the actual when you have the marker pen and when you're writing down on the wall,
Right.
But then when they say the blackboard, the professor said the first day, like we had a class and he said, I'm going to post the assignment on the blackboard. Poor me. Like in Kenya, we use the blackboard. When you say the blackboard, we use the board. Just the professor or the teacher would write notes on the board. When they say the blackboard, I just assumed, I'm like, oh, it's the board in the class. That there's going to be assignments there at 2 p.m. on Saturday. So I went to the class and I checked the class. There was no one in the class. There is no assignments. I'm like, whoop, it's a good day today. There's no assignments. But the blackboard is online, you know? So I had to go explain that to the professor. He didn't even know what I was talking about. He thought I was just kidding. She thought I was kidding, you know? So, and I mean, it's been like, I have a lot of stories I can tell you, but it's been a crazy journey, you know? But I'm thankful for that because that's what made me where I am today, you know? Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So what were some of your major accomplishments in college at UNC?
Yeah, so I was 7-time All-American. I was runner-up in the 5K 2 years in a row. I was runner-up to Cam Levins, the year that Cam Levins doubled. And then I was runner-up again in the year that Lawila Lang won the 5K and the 10K again. So I've been runner-up like 2 times in a row in the 5K NCAA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was your decision to join the Army? How did that come about? Like what was behind that?
Yeah, so I couldn't get any scholarship, to be honest. I mean, like any sponsorship, because the only sponsorship that I could get was probably like just the gear sponsorship. Because with my run-up in the NCAAs and anything, I didn't think that really like I had a way ahead. Like I had a way to keep exploring my talent and get the support. Because in the US, it's I didn't have my parents in the US. I didn't have anyone. So that would be tough to like transition and try to run professional with, I have to pay rent and I have to do everything. And doing pretty much all that without support and keep training and do professional running, which is more crazier than college running. I figured out that would be tough. And so I had a teammate, his name was Paul Katam, and he said he's joining the Army. And he knew the Dublica program. I didn't know anything about the Dublica program then. And he introduced me to Dublica program. And luckily I had a 13:20 in the 5K that year. So I called the Dublica program and I requested like if they could accept me, because at that time I already signed up for the Army. I was ready to go to the Army and done. I was gonna be done with running, you know? That was my goal, like, because really like I figured out I need to do something with my life, and United States gave me 4 years of scholarship, and joining the Army would be amazing. And it's not something wrong I was doing. So I was very happy about it. And when I heard about the Dublica program, I was like, you know, God comes through a lot of ways. And I called them and they say the standard to get into the program is 13:28 for 5K. I told them I have 13:20. So they told me like, oops, I guess you're good to go. So we're gonna have you like go to basic training and AIT, and then after that we're gonna attach you to the Dublica program. So I joined the Dublica program in 2014. I joined the Dublica program 2015 after I graduated from basic training and AIT like November. So I came to Dublica program, and 2015 I got 10th place.
Could you explain what that is? Like what the program is? What's the acronym for?
Yeah. Dublica program is this is a program that prepares soldiers for the Olympic Games. So WCAP stands for World Class Athlete Program. And this really it's an Army program that prepares athletes for the Olympics and Olympic events. So this year, WCAP program is so busy at this point because they're trying to get athletes ready for the Olympics and everything. And really, the Army is not about fighting wars, you know. The Army is very broad. That's why when you go to the Army, there's a lot of MOS. You know, if the Army is also about fighting wars, there would be only infantry. Everyone would be going to infantry or tanker. But there's a lot of MOSs, and so with the program, it's really good exposure to the Army, and people just know like the Army is broad. It's not about fighting wars, I can say, you know. So that's pretty much what the WCAP program is.
Okay. So then that was 2015 when you're, so how was go back here for a second. What did you think of basic training?
Wow. Basic training was really tough mentally, Physically, for me, it wasn't that bad because I already had an athletic background, with running and everything. So still it was tough with the push-ups, sit-ups, and everything. But the tough part was just the mental part. And really, that's what built me up, like the resilience part, it makes me like, now I'm more resilient, like with running now, it gives me that grind. So with like really like, what can I, like, I don't know how I can put it, but just pretty much mentally was very tough because I'm usually is about hurry up and wait, That was my hard part, hurry up and wait. So sometimes we'd wake up at 3 a.m. and get ready all the way till like by 3:30 we're supposed to be ready. You get ready in like 5 to 10 minutes. You wake up and you get ready really quick, but then you go for formation. You stand in the formation for like 2 or 3 hours, just standing there waiting, So you're going to wait from like, you woke up at 3 a.m., but then the thing that you're going to go do starts at 7 a.m. So that was really the hard part. And then when you do that, like it's 7 a.m. and then you have to go all the way, the training and everything, you are done at like 6 p.m. in the evening. But then when it's dinner time, you only eat for like a minute or 2 minutes. And then after that, you just go stand on the formation and wait. It really, really plays with your mind. Like a lot of things in the army is all about hurry up and wait and just a lot of perseverance. And really, really that was my hard part. But it teaches you a lot of things, a resilient discipline and going through that has made me where I am today. So
do you still kind of think of some of the things you learned in basic training? Do you ever fall back on some of that training?
Basic training, like what do you mean?
Like on the mental side, you ever think about
exactly, like the mental part and the resilience. I mean, that's no joke, So I really like that part, and yeah. So guess what? So can we resume this? I have 2 p.m. I have anti-doping with me right now.
Okay, we're back recording, everyone. We had to take a bit of a break there. Part of being a professional athlete, being a professional runner, is you get random drug screenings. So while we're recording, Paul, why don't you let everybody know what kind of happened there?
In the middle of our recording, and anti-doping just showed up in my door. They just knocked, and they always welcome. My window period is every day at 2 p.m. and it happened that I was doing the interview, the podcast, and boom, they showed up. So I have to do fast things fast. I have to represent. I mean, I have to come out clean and do that, because if my excuse was I was doing a podcast, at the end of the day, this podcast wouldn't probably even be out before they announce that I'm banned. So that's the crazy part.
So what's the process? So they show up at your door. What happens next?
So like yesterday it was a blood taste and urine taste. So once they show up, you have to wait for 20 minutes before they do a blood test. You have to sit down for 20 minutes straight before they do a blood test. And then after that, you provide a sample, urine sample. And then you declare what you've been taking, like supplements and everything. And I mean, that's when Xendurance comes in, because whatever I take, I know it's clean and it's approved. And that's the good thing, because Xendurance provides supplements, like also supplements, not just like recovery products, also supplements. So I don't have to worry about buying supplements from the store, because I don't have any backup then, but with Xendurance, I know everything is clean and it's approved. It's athlete, it's sports approved and everything. So, yep.
Yeah, that's one of the hurdles that we crossed early. We were actually one of the first companies to be Informed Choice, Informed Sport certified drug-free. So we've been playing this game for a long time, and we obviously know that it's a big deal to be certified drug-free, and that's what we want.
Yes.
All of our products to be certified drug-free. So there are a few products that we do have that aren't certified drug-free, and those are like the CBD products. That's just because there's no CBD product right now that's certified drug-free, but everything else in our line is. But so you got through that. You got through the test. I guess let's talk about that a little bit. How do you feel doping is in track and field? Do you feel like they have a pretty good handle on it? Do you feel like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's the way it's been improving like years and years, because nowadays people are getting busted. The top athletes are getting busted, which is a good sign to show they're putting in work. Before, I feel like top athletes would be protected or something. That's how I feel. But because why all of a sudden like top athletes get busted, and before there was top athletes who never got busted. So, and also just generally like, it's got to a period that when if you're doping, your days are numbered. That's what I know for sure. It's very, very like, it's a risky business right now even to try do that. It's
right.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, I'd rather like get the money that I get every year, and I know it's clean, and I know I'm gonna depend on that. If I have a contract, 4 years, I know I'm gonna have a contract for 4 years, and I'm gonna get something out of it for 4 years, and I'm gonna get prize money for 4 years. But then if I decide today to dope, yes, I can dope. I can win all races this year, and then I get busted next year, and then the next 3 years, I don't have any source of income. And then if you do the math, I would just prefer to wait for 4 years to collect that few change than just doing it for 1 year and then like get busted and everything is tarnished. Whatever you've been doing all those years, it's tarnished. And to be honest, trust me, it's very, very tough, like top level, because always you want to perform, always you want to be on the top. Because for me last year, that was very tough year for me. And if I was someone who was like weak mentally, and I was someone who would think about doping, that's when like if someone comes talk to me and drives me into doping, that I'll be like, I mean, let's do it, because it's been tough. It's been like back to back. I've been successful back to back, and then after that, it's like I didn't medal in a championship. So someone always will be like, oh, it's becoming tough. What can I do to medal? Or maybe take drugs. No, but then also for me, I think like about the future, what will happen to my body in future. And whatever I have right now, I'm already contented with it. I don't need a lot of money to be happy in life. I just need a lot of people around me, a lot of people who love me, a lot of people who support me to be happy in life. So pretty much that's that. And whatever I've been doing all those years, it's working without taking any drugs.
Right.
Whatever I've been doing all that years, it's working. So why should I use something that is banned and probably I wouldn't even get results from it and then get busted out of it? So, I mean, really, mainly the main thing that I have to do is just be disciplined, run, do all the training, eat well, get enough rest, and do the little things like stretching and taking supplements, like the required supplements like iron. You have to take iron. There's no shortcut. I mean, you can get iron from food and everything, but the way we train is very intense. So we need like sources of iron and fish oil for heart health, which is, I don't eat fish a lot. So I need supplement like fish oil. And pretty much that's the only things that I can take at this time. And really, I don't vouch and I don't support anything else, putting anything else into my body, because few years down the line, you never know what will happen. You're gonna be in wheelchair, you're gonna be in something, and something will happen to you, and you'll regret the rest of your life. That money, you'll use that money to take yourself. The money that you stole from people, you'll use that money to take yourself to the hospital, to get the treatment. And I believe in one thing, karma, Karma is a big thing. Once you do bad things will always follow you. So it's been that way for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that, you talked about being tough mentally.
Yeah.
And being strong mentally.
Yeah.
Do you ever deal with anxiety or stress or around a race, or any of those things ever pop up with you?
Man, tell you what, it's very, I raced in college, and just a minute.
No problem.
Chero, speak. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah. There was some sounds in the background, so yeah, background noise. So let's go back. What was I talking about?
I was just wondering if if you dealt with anxiety or stress.
Yeah. Stress is a big thing. Trust me. I've been through college running, and I tell you what, college running wasn't stressful. Like before a race, I would eat pizza, like the night before a race, and still like go crash the race. Eat a Subway sandwich in the morning, like before a race, and still crash the race. But for professional running, it's very, very intense. You put your body through a lot of things, and like training wise, it's tough. And the pressure to perform, you have to be always on top. So that really brings a lot of stress into you, because you're putting stress in your body, and then there's the stress pressure, like racing, there's that type of stress. So really, it's a lot of things that comes with it. So it's not just winning. Winning is the good part, but the other part of training and preparing for winning the races, that's the tough part. That's the part that not everyone can do. So, for example, like Eliud Kipchoge is my idol, and whatever Eliud Kipchoge does, and you've seen his life, the life he lives, and everything. That's a lot of sacrifice. And trust me, like for me, it's even hard to do. It's even hard to do such things, because you can get easily like distracted doing such things, like every year. The same thing every year. It gets sometimes it gets boring, and you can easily get distracted. But that's why I respect him a lot, and that tells you how professional running is. Yeah.
Is there anything you do, like, do you practice like any sort of mindfulness, or do you meditate, or how do you deal with stress when it kind of like hits you, or is there any practices that you kind of do to take care of that?
One of the things that I do is I always believe in my training. I always think about the past workouts that I've done. For example, like if I do quarters, usually I do quarters like 400 times 15, 1 minute recovery, and I try to do them like 57s, 58s. So before the race, I always think like, it's if I've crashed all those workouts, running a 5K, 61 minutes per lap, or 62 minutes per lap, it won't kill me, because I've already done the tough part. So, and also I just listen to music. I put on my headphones and listen to music, and listen to like Afrobeats music, and that pumps me up before a race. It gets me like focused, and just like a tunnel focus. I don't have to think about anything else and just focus on the race and the training, like what I've done to get there. And pretty much that's what I usually do.
Okay. Yeah, those are some very good takeaways for anybody out there too. I think if you can fall back on the things you've done to get you to where you're at, training wise, I think, yeah, definitely preparation kind of will help with anxiety, will help with stress, because you're prepared and kind of what you're able to do in that situation, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you also mentioned last year was a hard year for you, a little bit. So let's chat a little bit about that and why do you feel it was a tough year?
Last year, I was blessed to have my beautiful baby girl, and it was a good stress, like everything that I was doing was based on my daughter and making sure like she's happy and making sure that I help my wife and make sure that she's fine, but it's, the baby sleeps like she wakes up every 1 hour, 2 hours during the night. And if you are a professional athlete, to be honest, I took rest for granted, but that's the time that I realized, hey, sleep and rest, don't play with it. It's really a big factor on performance. That's the main important thing. And now, since then, I've realized like I never joke with my sleep. And so that came with sleep. And then like I wasn't getting enough recovery. And then I got injured in January. I got Achilles injury because I tried to get back real quick. I tried to get back into training real quick because indoor races were coming and New York Half was coming up. So I tried to get back into training real quick. And something with Achilles injury is that if you do something intense too quick, you get injured easily, like from the Achilles, especially if you do like bump up your mileage, like crazy mileage. Right. Usually you get Achilles or IT-band issues, mostly. So that was a rookie mistake. But then I just had the pressure, as I told you, like the stress, you have to perform. And when you sign up for a race, you have to go there and win and do, because they expect you to win. So that's the pressure. So I got injured, and then January came by and I wasn't doing any consistent training like the whole of January. Then February I was fine. Like I had to get trained. I got training like about a month before New York Half. So I did New York Half, and then from after New York Half, like March, April, my wife was still in school. My wife was she was pregnant when she was going to school. She went to school all the way till the day the day before she delivered. She was going to school an hour away in Denver, 1 hour, 20 minutes away. And something in me told me like if she really wanted it, she wanted to go and finish school and do that. So she asked me if she can go to school from like for another 1 month. That was the whole of March and the whole of April. So, like a 3-month daughter, like a 3-month-old, it's tough. That's the toughest stage because she cries every time. You don't know what she wants. And I remember my wife would leave. She would go to work. She would go to school at 5 a.m, and I would be with the baby from 5 a.m. till like 7 p.m., around 7 p.m. because she would go to school, drive 1 hour, 20 minutes, do the school, and then drive another 1 hour, 20 minutes. So when she leaves Denver at around 4:30 or 5, with the traffic, she gets back at 7 p.m. And when she gets back, sometimes she would get back at 6. As soon as she gets back, I would change real quick and go get her running,
Yeah.
So that was the tough year. And if there was a tough year, that was a tough year. And if I was able to do whatever I did last year, this year would be a great year because everything that I'm doing right now is only based on running, and I'm getting enough recovery and everything. Because now if if my daughter goes to sleep, we go to sleep together, and I don't have to worry about recovery and anything. So, yep.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, but still at indoor last year, you won the 3 and the right. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Right, you won the.
No, that was the year before.
Was that
Last year, I didn't do any indoor race. I was.
Oh, it was 2 years ago. That's right. So you took indoor off because of the injury.
I'm glad you still remember. I wasn't gone. I was still there in your mind.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I was like, because you doubled, right?
Yeah, I doubled like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this year I was gonna double, but I didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut in the 1500. So
whatever. Are you serious? You didn't make the cut?
Yeah.
It seemed like I think they would have let you in.
Yeah, but
that's just my gut feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your 1500 PR?
3:39. But it's something I haven't focused on 1500. Do like races, a lot of races, because my mile PR is 3:55, and so since college I've only done like 2 mile races. The outdoors 3:55 and indoors 3:59. That's only 2 races in the mile. And then professional running, I've only done 2 1500 meter races. That's it. So I haven't got any exposure on the 1500 or the mile, because everything is tough. Like focusing on training, and I really sometimes I feel like I don't want to break my training because I want to travel and go do a 1500 meter race. Yet I'm a 5K guy, I feel like it's if I waste 1 week, that I'd rather be doing a 5K race than doing a 1500 meter race. Mostly like I prefer 3K or the 5K.
So you don't miss really. Do you miss the speed?
I really want to do. I really would wish to do 1500 meter races, but I say like it's just tough to just put it in my schedule, like just to fix it and put it in my schedule and travel somewhere to do a 1500 meter race. So I usually just prefer doing a speed, like a race simulation in training, like a race simulation. So every year I try to do like a 1K, like really fast, which is exactly what I need. I don't need crazy. I don't need a 3:30 for a 1500 meter race, like a 3:30 to run like fast in a 5K. All I need is like 3:30, 3:38, 3:30, 3:40, just to get the wheels going. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to go back to last year. I happened to be present at this race. Let's talk about the USA Championships and the 5,000.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the wildest races, the most engaged I've ever been in a race, just because of how it was going down. It was the oddest thing to watch. Whereas you would take the lead, well, you were in the lead most of the time, but you would just put in these massive surges and then back off, massive surge, back off. And I was like, what is he doing? This is so crazy. But it looked like you were just kind of like out there in the playground, just kind of playing around. That was like, and then you would look back and you'd be like, okay, is anybody else going to help me out here? Like what's happening? And I just want you to like tell me kind of what was going on in that race and kind of take me through that.
Mostly like I don't like being predictable in a race. Usually I try to we have a visitor, man.
That's all right. Bring her up.
Say hi. Hi. She's like, what is this?
Say, I want to be on the podcast.
She's like, what is this?
No.
Go to uncle.
No.
No? She wants to stay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Hopefully she doesn't distract. Ooh, she's gonna turn it off right now. Go to mommy. Go to mommy. Go to mommy. Mommy. No. No. Daddy, I'm coming. Okay. Okay. Bye, Daddy. She's like, ooh, I wanna be there. Yeah.
It's all right. No big deal.
Yeah. Okay. I keep getting distracted.
No problem. We got about maybe like 10 more minutes or so.
Yeah. So I usually don't like. Being predictable in a race. Because 2 years ago, like when I went 13:08 in the 5K,
Yep.
I didn't want anyone to think the same way, like, oh, it's gonna go crazy, it's gonna go fast. And the good thing about the Sages is no one knows when you leave. No one knows when you'll go, like just go and go and go. And no one knows if you'll come back and stay with them. So it's kind of like what they get confused, and I feel like that's the way I train, and really it doesn't affect me when I do that. But tell you what, man, this year the Olympic trials will be fun. You better get a ticket. You better get a ticket, because I'm thinking otherwise. So yeah.
So I'm just going to put this out there. So you have a rivalry going on with Lopez right now. A little back and forth on social media. What kind of started that? And I think rivalries are awesome. I think it's great for the sport.
Yeah.
What kind of lit that fire?
Yeah. When we went to the trials last year, and whatever Woody Kincaid was doing to me, like waving his hands in the race and telling me like, oh, dude, in the race, it's like, dude, you started it. Keep going, man. Keep going. I'm like, okay, you think I'm going to come here to pace you, huh? You don't have the standard, dude. I know you don't have the standard. And that's the thing that really slowed me down, because I'm like, you don't have the standard, dude, so I'm not going to come here and pace you. So that pissed me off when he's trying to command me in a race, And then the second thing is, after the race, like it looked really cold, and Lopez was like on his own. He didn't want to talk to me and anything, because I tried to talk to him. I was like, oh, good race, man. And it looked like he didn't want to talk to me. And then all of a sudden, like at the end of the day, I see a tweet, I always believe in my mantra, go hard or suffer the rest of your life. And then he switches that. He writes, go hard unless they go with you. And then he puts my face, attached to my face in an Instagram post with something up. And I looked at it, I was like, I've won races and I've never said anything to someone. And whatever I do when I win races, I always try to encourage the other runners. Like, for example, if it's a US championship, I try and encourage them, like, hey, let's go to the Olympics or the World Championships and kill it, I don't talk about that race anymore, because it's over and the goal is just top 3. And that's why I'm going next year. I don't care. If I get 3rd place, if I get 10th place, let it be. But each days are numbered. That's all I can say, like I like the trash talk, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Will you guys meet before the trials at all?
Of course, he's gonna duck. Of course, I challenge him to come. To pre-classic 3K, and if he wins, I quit. I challenge him to come to pre-classic 3K. But if he thinks he's the boss, he should show up in that race, or just don't talk anymore, because I know they're planning to come sit on me. I know they're planning to come sit on me and wait for the kick. I know that's what they're gonna do. That's not just not me. I wouldn't feel dominant when I go. I know I'm going to sit on someone and then I'll kick them. I don't feel dominant like that. So I don't know how they feel dominant like that when they try to sit on me and try to outkick me. The only thing I can do is like I'm gonna challenge them. Not even them. Lopez Lomong. I challenge you. Come to the 3K in pre-classic. Let's duke it out, man. Because that way we won't even think about. I wouldn't even think about him. I would think about beating the Ethiopians. I wouldn't even think about him, to be honest. So that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think rivalries are great for the sport. I think it's for you and for your training. Obviously, probably fuels a little bit of fire. So
yeah, I don't sleep anymore. I was just using my talent to run. Now I'm gonna use hard work too. So when I use hard work, it's tough.
I like it. So we'll wrap up here shortly. But what? Tell me about Xendurance. Tell me what's your favorite Xendurance product. What do you like using?
Actually, you guys keep coming up with things, and I'm like, oh, I love this. Next time you come up with another thing, I'm like, ooh, this is my new favorite. I like the gel that just came out. I really like the taste. Hands down, that's my favorite. Like the gel is, and I never thought of using like the gels like before runs. But then when I tried it, I didn't have any stomach upsets. And now I use it during long runs. Usually I use it during long runs. And I feel like that's good because it's going to prepare me for the marathon. Once I get to the marathon, I wouldn't even have to practice that because I know already I'm used to putting something inside me before runs,
Right.
And also, like, I love the fact that you guys have a wide array, a lot of stuff. For example, the creatine, which is good for the muscles recovery, the creatine. So I usually use that, and also the extreme endurance. That's one of my weapons that Lopez Lomong doesn't know. So I got that. So, but mainly I would say like a lot of products, I love most of them, but most of the one that I like a lot now is the extreme endurance supplement, and also because the extreme endurance it's good for example like lactic. When I get lactic, it really that's when it kicks in. It helps me, especially if I do, like I told you, I do a lot of crazy quarters and 600s and 200s. So when I use those, that's when it really helps me a lot, especially like when short like sprint stuff. And then like the gel pretty much is good. It's good in my stomach, and I like the taste. So just keep sending them to me. I love them.
You got it.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, we are very grateful, and we are very honored to have you as part of Team X&D and be with Xendurance, and we're really looking forward to this year. I'm personally really excited about the rest of this year and going into the Olympics for you. So can't express enough gratitude to you, and thank you for representing the brand. And just from all of us here at Xendurance, we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season and the rest of the year.
Thank you.
And we look forward to watching you and keeping things going.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.